Is that a dinosaur?
That is a dinosaur, yes.
What is the dinosaur's name?
That dinosaur is called Frugalsaurus.
What does Frugalsaurus think about live-in flips? I mean, is he approved? Did he approve?
He helps.
Did you know that you can flip your home and make a lot of profit from the house you live in? Well, that is what we're going to talk about today. And I have some people who've done that to introduce you to in a second. And they're going to explain how it worked. Hi, I'm Chad Carson. You can call me Coach Carson. I'm here with my friends, Carl and Mindy Jensen. Welcome.
Thanks for having us, Chad.
Thank you, Chad. Nice to see you again.
We are live at FinCon. So this is a conference for financial nerds, basically. That's the best way I explain it. People who like to blog and write and, podcasts and YouTube about finance. So we're here in the background. You hear some noise. This is a conference of other financial nerds. When I thought about doing a video on the live-in flip, I thought about my friends, Carl and Mindy, because they've done it. They've done a lot in their life, and they're going to explain to you what it means, what it's all about. But I want to ask you, first of all, if you're new to this channel and you want to learn more about real estate investing, financial independence, doing more and more that matters, subscribe, click the bell, and you'll be notified of anything that comes down, new videos that are coming along. So we're here today to talk about real estate. Big surprise, right? And we're talking about the live-in flip. So maybe you can explain what this is, first of all.
So the live-in flip is a flip or a rehab that you live in while you're working on the rehab itself.
Yeah, your primary home is basically a construction zone, but don't run away and tear yet. Can be a good thing.
All right, so you live in a home, and a lot of people know what a flip is, but if they don't, if you watch the HGTV, you see people fixing up houses, flipping them, making big money. The live-in flip, the difference is you're living in this house. And so what are some of the benefits? Why is that any better than just living doing a normal residence?
Because you get to live in chaos. No, that's not a benefit. That's actually one of the detractors. The benefit is the cold, hard cash that you get at the end of the flip when you sell it. If you follow the right rules, you will make up to $250,000 of tax-free money if you are single and up to $500,000 if you are married. And we're married, so we can flip a house and make $500,000 in profit and pay $0 in capital gains taxes to the government, thanks to a law from 1997 that says your primary residence can increase and you don't pay any capital gains taxes on it, as long as you live there for at least 2 of the last 5 years.
I've always thought about that as like the best code or law in the tax code. $250,000 tax-free.
If you're single,
Yeah.
$500,000 if you're married.
Your first condo, Mindy, you figured out, all right, this is a concept that has legs. I'm going to do this again. This is great. How did you even get your head around fixing up a house?
Yeah, the truth is we did not know how to do anything. So one day, our sink faucet started leaking, and I called up a plumber, and the guy came over. He's like, okay, I'll charge you like $150 to fix this leaky faucet. I'm like, okay, great. He's like, I'll be back the next day. So then he didn't show up, and it made me a little bit mad. I'm offering to pay this guy. I think he wanted cash, so there's probably some bad things going on there. But anyway, I checked out a book from the library, and I learned that it was a $1.50 washer, and I didn't really know what I was doing, but I just followed the directions on how to take this thing apart. An hour later, it was fixed. And I was so amazed at myself. It was something I never thought I could do. So after that, I started thinking, if this basic plumbing fix wasn't that difficult, maybe I should at least try other things. So we started doing tile, we started hanging cabinets, and branched off into all these other things. The first time we did anything, we would take our time, we would read the instructions, this is going back 20 years, so no YouTube. We would check out books from the library.
Imagine that. Wow.
Library. So now the amazing thing is all this work is even easier because anything you can possibly do, there's 500 people who have taken their time and made this great YouTube video. So you set up your tablet next to your bag of thin set and next to your stack of tile, and you watch that while you do the work. And it's that easy. You take your time. The first time is going to be scary, but you'll build confidence. And what's the worst that can happen? You might have to redo something, but that's never happened. Home Depot has free classes too. Big box stores have free classes where they'll show you how to do many of these tasks as well.
And I've heard you recommend, Carl, which I think is good advice, to start with a small task. Like I know you've learned how to do tile. Both of y'all know how to do rock tile. You know how to do all sorts of carpentry, but you weren't doing that the first time. I mean, like you pick one task and then you learn how to do that one task. You might pay somebody to do the other ones early on, right?
Yeah, that's right. Start out simple. Don't try to remodel half your house the first time you ever do something. I think our first one, one of our first big ones was a bathroom with it, still pretty small. So we learned how to tile on that bathroom, and I learned how to replace a toilet on that, which is really easy. We've yanked out more toilets than I can count. Lots and lots of toilets.
Everything is about toilets. You always bring up toilets in every interview we do. But yeah, you might not be able to do everything, but you can try everything. You know, if you're doing electric, turn off the main power before you start anything. If you're doing plumbing, turn off the water before you start anything. But if you do that, there's actually very little damage that you can do that can't be undone by a professional. So there's no harm in trying it out.
And one other thing I'll add is one of the benefits of a live and flip is when you get into home construction and home remodeling, you'll find that with many tasks, almost all the cost is tied up in the labor, especially now when the economy's hot. People won't even return your call, and when you do get them, they'll charge you like 10 times more than what you could do the whole job for yourself. Tile is a great example of that, or hanging cabinets. I've had friends get quotes of like $10,000 to hang up cabinets. It's pretty much a one-day job for two people. It's not that difficult. So certain tasks, it definitely pays more to do it yourself. Other tasks, not so much. Drywall work, I'm not going to touch large scale. Tile, cabinets.
Roofing, gutters, hire those out. Cement work, hire that out. But when you can do so much by yourself, it's a lot less painful to hire out the roofer and the gutter work.
One of the things I love about live and flips is that all this we're talking about doing work yourself. Like I've not done as much work myself, but there's a lot of flexibility in there. But the other thing I love is that you're going to be there 2 or 3 years, and you have to live there, right? So it's not like the pressure of a regular flip that we're doing. Like we got to get this thing done in like a month or two. And whereas a live and flip, you can choose to do some cabinets, you can choose to do something, and you got some time. I mean, you're going to learn while you're in there. It's not like the pressure's on, you got to do this, and the house is vacant. You got to live somewhere, and here you are fixing up a house that can make a profit someday, and you can learn while you go.
Yeah, that's a really great point, is you don't have to gut the whole house to the studs and then start rebuilding it while you're living in there. That is a recipe for a lot of unhappiness. There are some jobs that you do want to group together, like drywall. If you're going to be redoing and pulling the drywall off of large portions of the house, you want to get the drywallers in there one time, because that is a huge mess, and it's just as easy for them to do the whole house at once as it is to do a room and then come back and a room and then come back. And it's actually probably going to cost you less because they're doing it all at once.
Yeah.
You want to group things together, like all of the electrical work. If you're not going to do that yourself, don't have the electrician come out 12 times. Have every part you need and every fixture you want him to install so that he can do it once, or, as few trips as possible.
And so I want to go back to some of your early deals. Is that a dinosaur?
That is a dinosaur, yes. He's awesome at tile. Holy cow. No, he can't help do anything with plumbing, but tile, he's a master.
Can he get a toilet unplugged?
Yeah, I won't go into detail, but the answer is yes.
Hey, Frugalsaurus, I just want to buy my dream house as big as I can with a white picket fence. I want it to be, I can afford $500,000, so I'm just going to buy the most I can. So I want to go back to one of your early examples. You flipped a condo, and I want to give kind of the big picture so people can kind of see, because this is, to me, is such a cool strategy over time to build wealth when you're first starting. And my impression was for y'all is, you're working your job, you're early in your career, that this was one of the ways you started building some of your first kind of nest egg of wealth. Is that right? And can you talk about how that worked for y'all?
When I bought that condo, I didn't have any money. It was a very ugly condo. It had a dishwasher, which was my main thing that I was looking for, because I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew that I couldn't afford anything else. I bought this ugly place. I fixed it up. I bought paint, but I went to the oops section of the paint store and I bought paint that had been mismixed. And then I brought it home. Oh, I don't want yellow, but I can mix that with something else and make a different color that I do want in my house. So I probably spent less than $100 on painting the entire thing. It was about 900 square feet, and it was good quality paint. It was just not mixed the right way. I tiled the floor. My dad and Carl tiled the floor for us, or for me, and I painted the walls. I had a weird window thing that needed to be fixed. But all in, it was, I want to say, sub $500 that I paid in materials. And then I made $25,000 when I sold it. And like Carl said, as we grew our skills, we were able to tackle larger projects that had more issues. And right now, I won't buy a meth house and I won't buy a mold house. I want it to be habitable when I buy it. But ugly all day long, I'll take.
Well, let's fast forward because some people might not know your story. Both of you have, you write at 1500 Days, and Mindy is at BiggerPockets. But tell me about like the end story. So you guys started building wealth, flipping houses. You also invested on the side. Tell your story about what age you were able to leave your job and kind of how that worked too.
The really cool thing about flipping houses is if you can afford to buy a house, you could do this. So I think it's an awesome wealth generating strategy for anyone, especially if you're just starting out. And that's what we did. These house flips, we've done about 8 of them, correct?
Yeah.
These house flips built the core of our nest egg. So we would take this money and we'd either buy another house with it or invest it. Completely worth it. I'm thankful that we stumbled upon it because we never intended to do this when we got married. We didn't even know what a live-in flip or how to do anything at that time. So it's been a spectacular strategy for us.
All right, so let's talk about downsides. So we're not all about saying it's all roses and this is wonderful and you ought to do it. Obviously, a live-in flip involves some effort. It's active, and it's not for everybody. But what do you think are some of the challenges that people should be prepared for as you're getting into some of these flipping your residences?
You are living in chaos. And how much chaos you're living in depends on how well you manage the flip. If you're going to rip everything apart and go right down to the studs, then you're going to live in a lot more chaos. Drywall day is the worst. It is so messy. And it doesn't matter how much you prepare for it. There's drywall dust in everything in your whole house. So that's definitely something that you need to keep in mind is that some days it's going to suck. Some weeks it is going to suck. And you need to really keep one room untouched so you have a place to retreat in your house, at least one room. Because there are days that it just gets overwhelming and you're like, I did something wrong 3 times in a row, and then I broke the tool the 4th time I did it. I can't handle this today. Just walk away. Tomorrow's another day. You've got a 2-year time window. You don't have a 20-minute time window. You're not trying to flip it in 3 months or whatever. So just walk away and give yourself a mental balance. But yeah, the mess is really the most difficult thing.
Yeah, this is going to be a lot of work for you. I remember our friends would come over talking about this and this TV show, and we're like, well, we've been working on a house till 11 o'clock at night every night for the past year. So there was work involved, and there was some big low points. I remember probably the lowest of the low points that I remember is when we were fixing up that same Geneva house. We had a fresh basket of laundry that you had just done. So this laundry is sitting in the laundry basket, and we had tried to keep that room sterile away from the rest of the house. And but we were doing drywall work somewhere else, and we walked in the room, and there's just a coat of drywall dust on top of all our fresh laundry. I think you cried, or maybe I cried, but it was like 10 degrees below zero outside. That was a low point, but I wouldn't trade those memories for my nest egg now. It's fantastic.
Yeah, cash in that big ass.
Go for it.
Cash in that great big check really makes a lot of it go away.
Hopefully this has been informative for people. They can see that live-in flips are interesting. It's something they can get into. It's been successful for you. Hasn't been easy. You've had some hard work. If somebody is considering getting started with a live-in flip, I'd like from each of you, let's start with Mindy. What's your number one tip, something they should keep in mind just to get started with live-in flips?
The number one thing to keep in mind is what are you going to do with the house when you're done with it? Because just because you plan to sell it doesn't mean that the market that you're going into in 2 years is going to make it worth your while to sell. So have multiple exit strategies. And also, before you even buy the house, make sure that what you're going to do to it is going to make it marketable. There are weird houses. What is the saying? Unique is a 4-letter word in real estate. So don't buy the dome house and flip that. You're not going to get anybody to buy it from you. Buy a regular house. Buy a normal house that's just ugly. And, it doesn't have to be a complete gut rehab to make money off of it.
Carl?
I'm not sure if the camera can pick up all the puncture wounds on my hand, but get a tetanus shot before you start construction. I've had 2 of them, just like I'm supposed to, and they probably save me from lockjaw or whatever tetanus shots save you from. But, okay, I'll throw out one other bonus tip up. Make sure the house you're buying needs work that's within your skill levels. For example, if a house needs foundation work, we're not going to touch that because that can be very expensive. It's beyond our knowledge. We know nothing about that. But pink toilets, pink bathtubs, bring that on because we know how to deal with that. Bring on the ugly 1970 countertops and cabinets. That stuff is great because I know how to tear that out and replace it, and it's not that difficult. Also, stay above board. Get permits. Most permit offices are pretty reasonable, and we'll be willing to work with you. Ours have always been great. Some people have horror stories, but it's been nothing but good for us. Stay above board, and that's going to help you sell the house too, because when I'm buying a house, I always check for that type of thing, and other people will too. So I just gave you 3 tips, but tetanus shots, most important.
Yeah.
You don't want to be dead.
Hey, Frugalsaurus, I just want to buy my dream house as big as I can with a white picket fence. I want it to be, I can afford $500,000, so I'm just going to buy the most I can.
No. And
what do you mean, no? I deserve it.
Save your money. You don't deserve anything, you lazy dinosaur, you lazy saurus.
And if you like the dinosaur battle that we had, let us know who you thought won. Should Spendosaurus buy the dream house, or should you follow Frugalsaurus's advice and buy the live and flip? If you like this episode, if you like this channel, please subscribe. Got a lot of other content coming. This is a special episode at FinCon. We're live. Got a lot of other ideas related to real estate investing, financial independence, and it's coming your way. So let me know if you like it, like the video, share it with your friends, and we'll see you next time. My name's Chad Carson. You can call me Coach Carson, and you've been watching Coach Carson TV, which is all about real estate investing, financial independence, and doing more of what matters.
Wait, you're a T-Rex. I take it all back.